this is what I was waiting for. This is exactly what I was waiting for. We wanted to see what the head honcho had to see with that pitiful performance by Keely Ringo and Old Boy. You know, that was just we can't put that on the field, you know. I think a blind man could see that we can't put that on the field. So, you know, I just wanted to see what Vic Fangio had to say. And in fact, let's just get a reminder of what happened. Let's just get a little reminder of what happened.
So Ringo knows.
All right, you see Keely Ringo matched up against Jamar Chase, and no,
Diced pineapple.
Turned them into diced pineapples. You see it? You see it. We can't put that on the field. All right, the man's hips. Hold up. So you see this? Dory Jackson matched up against Jamar.
Diced pineapple.
Just the abuse continues. All right, the abuse continues. We're gonna get to this little nugget in a minute, but yeah, man. When I say I was a Keely supporter, we're gonna get to this in a second, to the Vic Fangio interview in a second. But when I say I was a Keely supporter, right? All right, I'm not copping, please. I'm just trying to explain. It's not I was a fan of the player. It's just we drafted him, right? We drafted him, we brought him up, and I was hoping that the time that he had to develop would be enough time for him to be ready for his moment, right? And like I said in my last video, you know, when you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. And you saw what happened with Shedeur Sanders last night. When it was his time to shine, he shined bright. You know, he shined bright. He took advantage of his moment. And not only did he prove the haters wrong, he proved himself right. And that's what I was hoping Keely Ringo would do. But, you know, when quarterbacks and wide receivers, they line up against him, they know he's diced pineapples. You know, Keely and Old Boy. I don't even know if he's going to make the team for real. But, yeah, they know they could dice him up. And shit is sweet out there. You know, diced pineapples. Let's hear what Vic has to say.
Hey, Vic, what do you know about the new guy, Jacorian Bennett?
We're going to find out here soon. Just throw him into the action and see what he's got.
Do you see anything about him coming in, through the draft process? Did you learn anything?
I don't remember him in the draft process. Watched a little bit of his tape last year with the Raiders. He's got some good speed, got some coverability. We'll see.
Do you expect him to compete for that starting job?
Possibly. I mean, everybody's got the right to compete out here. I think we need to get his feet under him and get our eyes on him and see what happens over the next few weeks.
Vic.
Shut the fuck up!
Stop lying. Stop lying. All right. This is the only time Vic is going to be coy about the situation. But look, it's okay. You don't want to hurt no feelings. You don't really want to hurt no feelings. You'll talk about technique and you know what guys can do better, but you ain't going to say, yo, the new guy, his job, he earned the job by not playing. Vic is a trip, yo.
What made College Booker expendable?
He wasn't expendable. You know, we're going to miss Book. I'm going to miss him personally, but to get something, you got to give something, you know. So.
Say anything about you thinking the depth that you had at that position was greater than going into camp?
Say it again.
Did it have anything to do with the depth that you had at that position being greater than you thought it was going into camp?
No. You know, we have our three starters. You know, Gabe's been coming along. BY's been coming along. Ty's been coming along. You know, are they where they need to be? No, but they're coming along, and hopefully that will continue.
Going back and looking at the tape of the preseason game, what do you think of Keely Ringo and Dory Jackson's performance?
Yeah, obviously they had some tough assignments in that game going against that quarterback and those receivers. But I think it's a great learning experience for both of them. And hopefully they'll both come back. Obviously, Keely had more balls thrown his way than Adoree did. But I think it's great that happened. And we'll see how much they can grow from that.
What is it about Bennett? What is it about Bennett that you like about his play that, that maybe you've seen him tape, but you haven't seen him out there yet?
He can run. He's got some coverability. And he's going to be in the mix with the rest of them.
The smile and jihad at 12:01.
AKA, he's better than these niggas I got.
Linebacker. What did Smile start? How do you think he's performing?
Yeah, Smile started because we were going to play all those, him, Trot, and Campbell equally, and Campbell would have started, but then a day or two before the game, the trainers asked if we only play Jihad as much fewer snaps coming up, so it made sense to not start him, so there'd be a logical rest period for those other two guys.
On that Jamar Chase touchdown, I think you called a zero there. Is that intentional at all during the preseason to kind of give a certain look or test a cornerback in that spot?
Yeah. There's a lot of times in the preseason where you're calling stuff for the purpose of evaluation, whereas during the season, a real game, you're calling lost technical difficulties. You're calling stuff to stop anything that you can to help your guys, but during the preseason, a lot of times you're calling stuff to get a good evaluation of everybody.
And was that a specific one for Keeley in the corners?
Just not particularly for Keeley, but for all the cover guys.
So when you are making those evaluations off the games, clearly you're not scheming for the other team. Those guys that potentially starting aren't playing alongside starters. How do you weigh that when you are making that final evaluation?
It all factors in. It just all factors in. There's not an overriding thing. Our practice against our team, you got the Browns coming in there for a couple, the 3 preseason games. It's an accumulation.
How do you think Sidney played and handled?
I thought he did fine, and I think he'll keep progressing. Sidney's got a lot of good stuff to his game. We just got to polish him up and see things a little better, a little quicker, which is a natural progression for young players who he didn't have. He didn't training camp last year from a defensive standpoint was a very small chance for him to grow. So this is his time.
That's interesting. He didn't completely write him off like he's been doing old boy. So Sidney Brown is still in the mix. Maybe that's to put Makuba on like some sort of edge, whatever, to really step up. Competition is still good, but all right, I guess Sidney Brown is still in the mix.
And what Shedeur Sanders? What do you know about him? Did you study him at all coming into the draft?
No, I don't know anything about him.
Is there anyone that has stood out in particular in these first 10 practices in the preseason game that maybe weren't expected?
A lot of the guys have had their moments, good, not so good. I don't think we're there yet to say stand out.
What's your level of comfort right now with the edge rushing room as a whole, and have any concerns about further down in the depth chart right now with the depth?
Yeah, we need some guys to surface behind the first couple, and I think some of them are making good strides. I think Uche's getting better. He's just got to keep learning how we want to do all the little details, both against the run and the pass. Ojulari, same. And then the other guys, we're looking for somebody to surface to say, hey, maybe we need to keep this guy.
It's also interesting that over the past couple weeks, the development that Josh Uche, he's the third rotational piece over Ojulari. I think when we signed both of them, everyone had the thought that Ojulari would be the third guy in after Nolan Smith and Jalen Hunt, but it seems like Uche, he's got the edge right now, so we'll see.
Have you, the Bengals playing their starters, how much better is it for you to evaluate guys like Amy and Sidney and all these guys?
Yeah, I think it's great. That's great.
And what kind of things can they learn from going against guys? Obviously, AJ and Devontae.
Yeah, huh?
Obviously, AJ and Devontae are here often doing it.
Yeah, those guys have missed a lot of practice, both of them. They're great learning experiences, especially, the one thing for corners and DBs, out here there's no scoreboard. Over there, there's a scoreboard. And you got to be able to play when there's a scoreboard.
What stood out to you about Tyrod's hitting game ball from the preseason?
What happened?
What stood out to you about Tyrod's?
Yeah, I thought they both showed pretty good knowledge of what we're asking them to do from an assignment and technique standpoint. I think they both played hard, and I think they're both progressing. I think Gabe's had a nice camp. I think Gabe's, like I said before, a poster child for what practice squad is supposed to be.
How did you see him develop in that year on the practice squad?
I think he just kept getting more confident. He coming off the injury he had in college. He needed some confidence in that regard. He needed to get stronger. Needed to adjust playing against men, not college players. it was a great learning experience for him.
Thinking about
What's your overall take on working on tackling in camp now, and how you get around but not doing it to the ground?
Yeah. Like I was just telling somebody this morning, what is it, about 40-some years, I've only been in one camp where there was live tackling in practice, and that was, that would show up about every other day for about a 12-play period. And I've been with some of the most hardworking head coaches or driving head coaches and push players, but we would do it in short yardage goal line, but out in the field, never. And you got to be able to learn how to practice by approaching everything in practice as if it's going to be a live tackle. And then at the point of contact, you don't. And that's the best way to do it in practice. Obviously, we show video on how we need to do it, the best way to do it. And you've got to be able to become good tackler that way.
To follow up on earlier about the cover zero play.
Which is crazy because 2 years ago, that was one of our issues on defense, that we were a terrible tackling team. We took bad angles. We didn't wrap up. A lot of arm tackles. The guys with the ball in their hand, they used to break tackles all the way down to a touchdown. If we remember that Buccaneers game, Lord have mercy. I've never been so disappointed in watching a football game in my life, but yeah, man, it's amazing the turnaround that's happened in the past year. So shout out to the coaching staff.
Ringo, so whenever you're calling plays in practice or in games, are you doing that trying to find out whether certain guys can play man or whether they're better at zone and things like that?
Yeah, and also to stress them, to put them in stressful situations, which are going to happen during the season and games. So to, I don't know how much, we played Cincinnati last year and there was no cover zero because of Chase and their receivers and their quarterback. But it's a good evaluation.
What do you see from Jacob Sykes? I talked about it flash a little bit there.
Yeah, he's got good movement. He's better on the move right now than he is grinding blocks. We've got to improve on his ability to grind blocks more. But yeah, he did play pretty good.
Thinking about rookies missing time, Vic, last year with Cooper, do you think he would have been ready to be a factor week one, or did he need that time watching those first 4 weeks?
Yeah, he didn't practice last year all offseason, and the only time he started practicing was the week of the last preseason game, and he played a good bit in that game, and he didn't play well, meaning how to do things, from a technique, assignments, more of a technique standpoint. He wasn't ready to play. Contrary to popular belief, practice is important, and repetitions are important. There's a lot of people that don't believe that these days, but he's a poster child for that last year. If you watch his last preseason game and then watch how he played once he got going, it's night and day. So,
hey, I completely agree with that. Back when I used to hoop, I used to love practicing, busting these niggas' ass. Look, practice, you can try stuff. Once you learn how to play and you learn how to play with the group around you, you can start trying stuff. That's when you get the communication down, and the trust level comes up between the coach, the players, everybody, man. Everybody. And you get to see how high you can raise your look, practice is important, all right? Practice is important. Don't let anybody tell you different.
Points to Staley on the touchdown, just getting out leverage.
which one?
Well, the first, the Chase touchdown, the long touchdown.
The one he caught kind of short? Yeah, he's got a tackle. I'm not upset that the guy caught the ball on him. I'm upset that he didn't tackle him. And he's got to realize where he is on the field, use the sideline, realize who he's going against. Those are all things you got to process and factor in a millisecond. And he didn't do a good job of that in that play. But I expect him to learn from that, and I expect him to improve from that.
Dice pineapple.
Oh, that's it? All right. Well, the Vic has spoken. The Penguin has spoken. But, yeah, man, y'all saw it. And even, look, this tweet right here. Terrace Marshall caught a long pass from Tanner McKee along the right side with Adoree Jackson in coverage, man. He just came off injury. He doesn't even need to be 100%. Cooking these niggas. You need to get old boy up out of here. He needs to go. But and it looks like Eli Ricks, he's in third place for the cornerback position. So I don't know if that's good or bad, but we need to address the safety position as well. But some from notes from the game. Let's see. Kevin Patullo, he's proving me right. He's proving me right. So he was sharp. He looks like he has command of the offense, and I liked what I saw. McKee, he looks sharp. Usually when he starts, he has like one backup quarterback type of throw, like, yo, what the F was that? But all in all, it was a solid performance. It looked kind of like a showcase, you know. I already said it. The Saints quarterback situation, it's looking bad down there, and we can send him for a first round pick, maybe 2. You know, Howie, go ahead, hit him over the head. Let's see. All the running backs look good, and everybody looked better than Will Shipley. All right. I have a feeling that this is going to be another Britton Covey situation. They're going to keep him around because everybody, they like him or whatever. But look, Derek Powell, he played better. AJ Dillon, he looked good. I wasn't high on the signing, but he looked good. And when he plays with the first team offensive line, he should look pretty good. He should look better. Keelan Robinson, he looked good. Everybody looked better than Shipley. All right, and don't you can spare me with that run to the right side. You know, my grandmother could have ran through that. She could have ran through that, and she uses a walker. All right, spare me. Dotson, he looks sharp with the plays that he got. Darius Cooper, he looks like Dotson better tighten up. He better tighten up. Darius Cooper is on his ass for that third receiver position. So Johnny Wilson, I haven't been high on, but he made some plays. Keep it up. Keep it up. I'd like to see that. Anais Smith, he had a couple plays and he had a nice return. Danny Gray, he would have housed that though. And that's another thing. Keely Ringo, he got lost on the block. Go watch that punt return back. If you can find it, go watch that punt return back. Yeah, he looked like he was lost, and I think Anais Smith would have had a chance to take that to the house if Keely Ringo was paying attention. All right. The O-line looked good, except Miles Hinton. He needs some work. We had 3 drop picks between Campbell, Ricks, and Trotter. The D-line got virtually no pressure at all. Ty Robinson, he got a sack. Let's see. Patrick Johnson got a sack, but it was called back. He got a flag, and then on the very next play, he got a pick 6, right? Or did he just get an interception? Yeah. But he made a play, right? He got an interception, shut down the screenplay by himself, and then he made a play. Shout out to Patrick Johnson. Jahad Campbell, look, man, just go watch my short, all right? I have a short that I made for Jahad Campbell. Go watch that. That's whatever I said in that, it translated to the game. So go watch that. Eli Ricks was different. He was decent. He almost had a pick 6, but you know, I don't know. Old boy and Keely, barbecue chicken out there. Hibachi with a side of vegetables. Those are the notes. Jacorian Bennett, I guess he got to make a play. You got a nickname, Cactus Jack, right? The spot is yours. Look, the qualifications for a button, right? You need a pick 6, a game-winning pass deflection, or a solid 4-game stretch. Then you get a button. All right, Cactus Jack. We got a nickname for you, Cactus Jack. He's not homegrown, so you know, and he didn't rush for 2,000 yards on the way to the Super Bowl, so he needs those qualifications for a button. Other than that, our special teams was trash. Our special teams was hot garbage. Patty Nickerson and Castro Fields, they were making plays. Shout out to those guys. So That's all I got, really. And the last thing I want to leave you with, this is a crazy stat, all right? This is the craziest stat of all, and I'm going to get out of here. In the second half of games last season, AJ Brown only received 32 targets total. Yeah, we're going to let that one sink in. And I'm going to say it again, okay? Last season, in the second half of games, all right? So there's the first half, second half. In the second half of games, all 16 or 15 games that he played, he received only 32 targets throughout the whole season. Now we know why he was reading a book. Like, comment, share, subscribe. You know the deal.
Nigga, you going to get down or you going to fucking lay down?